Welcome back to another Chatting with Wisdom. I am Gigadomi Gwenkwe, spirit name, which means talking feather woman, and I'm also known as Rollie Allaire. I empower women to stand in their truth so that they feel fulfilled and can achieve all their desires. This unscripted weekly interview series is to help support successful women who feel misunderstood and disempowered in personal relationships stand in their truth so that they can communicate with confidence. Join me for a Stand in Your Truth call where we'll explore what's blocking you from communicating with confidence in your personal relationship. This week, I'd like to introduce Joel Solomon, and we'll chat about how to create money miracles. And Joel is a finance and mindful money expert and master prosperity coach who helps others overcome obstacles standing in their way of their financial freedom. He's an award winning speaker, workshop facilitator, and frequent television and podcast guest who has been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, Newsday, US News, and World Report. He and interviewed in the Forbes and on Bloomberg Radio as manager of a 700 million portfolio, the creator of his own successful hedge fund, and the author of three best-selling books, Infinite Love and Money, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, and Mindful Money Management. Joel is an expert in the field of finance and the mindset of money, just as he teaches in his books and seminars. The true foundation of wealth and financial freedom is a mindset of abundance, self-worth, gratitude, love, and service. And so, welcome. How are you?
I am great, Raleigh. Thanks so much for having me. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you for having me.
Well, thanks so much for being here. And I have one of Joel's books here, and it was gifted to me when I signed up for one of Joel's programs. So I'm looking forward to being able to get it read from cover to cover and get some of those tips out. And so I know that in your program you kind of pick out little snippets of it, but I'm looking forward to reading it from cover to cover. So tell me a little bit more about how did you get into this?
Great question. Long answer, and I apologize up front. I started my career as an actuary. And Raleigh, I don't know if you know the difference between an actuary and an accountant,
No.
but an actuary looks at his feet when he talks to you, and an accountant looks at your feet when they talk to you.
Okay.
That was a joke. You could laugh if you want to. What an actuary does is they calculate the premium you have to pay for your insurance policy. If it's life insurance, a health insurance, auto, or home insurance, disability insurance, long-term
Okay.
care. And so I did that for about 7 years. I didn't love my day job, but I had a huge desire and dream to be a money manager. But I asked a lot of money managers how they got there, and they gave me a lot of doubt, massive, massive doubt, and a ton of rejection. But I finally found one guy who told me his path, and I took it. And it took me 15 years, but I did become a money manager at Citigroup in 2008. You may remember 2008. It was not the best year in the stock market. I was managing a portfolio of stocks, betting that some were going to go up, others were going to go down. And we did manage to make some money in 2008, did better in 2009. And I might actually still be at Citigroup, but there was a law passed in the US that said banks can't own hedge funds. And so we were all laid off, our whole division, which actually gave me the kick in the butt to start my own company. So I started my own company, Solomore Capital, a hedge fund, again, focused on financial institutions, betting some stocks were going to go up, others were going to go down. So we were going to make money no matter what. So I did that for almost 4 years. And in December 2015, I went to a personal development course. And there was a guy there pitching stock options as the way to get rich. He said, you don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And options are essentially risk-free. And I was sick to my stomach. I had people tapping me on the shoulder, whispering me, Joel, does this make sense? Are options really riskless? So after he was done, we went out of the auditorium. I told them, please don't do this. He has no idea about any of you individually, and most importantly, no about belief that you can get rich using stock options. And I went home that night, 3:30, 4 in the morning. I woke up. I couldn't sleep. I think it finally hit me at 4:30. I jumped out of bed. I quickly got dressed. I was at my office in Midtown Manhattan before the sun rose, and I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose in life.
Nice.
And so that's why I am now helping people become financially free, teaching them the truth about money and being of service and helping entrepreneurs to get significant income in their business so that they can help others.
Nice. So what are some, like, obviously there's like 9 money rules, but I'm sure there's lots of other tips as well. So what is the one thing, so if somebody were to take away from this conversation, what's one thing that they can actually start doing right now in terms of being able to create these money miracles?
Well, the very first thing is beliefs, as we just talked about, because this is how I was brought up. Joel, we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. That's too expensive. And I think that's how most people are brought up. And you're programmed. You went from age 0 to 7, 8, 9, 10. You don't have a filter. So whatever you're told, you don't question.
Yeah.
And so we're programmed about money growing up. And then we don't question these programs. You have to work really, really hard to be rich and successful. Only people who are not spiritual can get rich. You can't be spiritual and rich.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are programmed in. So you, what I teach, and one big takeaway is to change these, what I call limiting beliefs, to empowering beliefs. And you can do that through different techniques that I teach. And one is through affirmations. 2 is through audio files that are free, by the way, on my website. I have audio files that you can download for free. There's 12 of them. They're 1 to 2 minutes, absolutely free, in my manifesting module drop down menu on my website, which is salamour.com, SALAURMOR.com. By the way, my company name, Salamour, is named after my daughters, Lauren, LAUR for Lauren, MOR for Morgan.
Oh,
so
nice.
The first step is to think differently by using these audio files. The second step is to use affirmations. And, you know, I recently gave a TEDx talk, and I go through the proper way to say affirmations because it's so important. People, you know, you hear affirmations all the time, and I know some of you may say, oh, you know, this woo-woo BS stuff, but affirmations do work. Navy SEALs are using affirmations. High-performing athletes are using affirmations, and they do work. So what was really important with affirmations is to say things you believe in.
Yes.
Because if you're saying, I am financially free, and it's not true, and you're not close, this is what's happening. Nothing. You're putting stuff out there, and there's massive resistance. So it's, you know, one of my mentors, Andy Dooley, says, feeling first, manifestation second, right? If you're saying something and you don't feel it, you don't believe it, then it's not happening. So saying affirmations that you believe are important. And I go through this in my TED Talk as well. Saying affirmations that you believe, saying them that you have a high belief level. So if 1 to 10, 10 is absolute faith and 1 is massive doubt, you should be 7, 8, 9, or 10. And then desire. What's your desire level? 10 is burning desire. I need to have this. And 1 is, nah, it's okay. I don't really need it. So you need to be a 7, 8, 9, or 10 on desire, 7, 8, 9, or 10 on belief. And when you have a level of 10 for belief and a level of 10 for desire, that's called expectation. You're expecting it to happen. So what I recommend with affirmations is to say affirmations that you believe and you have a strong desire for, and say them out loud with emotion and put your name in them. So, I, Joel Solomon, am a money magnet.
And I like how you actually said vocalizing it, right? Because that is something that I think that a lot of people miss, is that vocalizing. It's like, oh, I have to keep it quiet. I have to keep it secret.
I tell my clients the most powerful manifesting technique I have is saying things out loud with emotion. And I say, look, if your partner's around, go in the bathroom, scream it there.
Yeah.
Go outside and do it then. But do it out loud, because you're creating a vibration, a frequency. And there's a frequency attached to sound, which is a different frequency than attached to a thought. Now, thoughts are things, and thoughts are powerful. But you have 75,000 thoughts a day. You have about 7,500 words that you say out loud a day. So make those words really count.
Yes. So Joel, you were talking about your TEDx talk, and so for anybody who is on Facebook and YouTube, is that the link is actually shared in there so that you guys can find it. And so I'm just going to share it on the screen for anybody who is watching this from a video. And for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast, I will make sure to go and add that into the description so that you guys can actually find it easily, because I want to make sure that you guys are able to find this TED Talk. So if you guys are watching this on the screen, this is the link that you guys can actually go and have a listen to the TEDx. And I had told Joel I had seen that he had posted that his TEDx had gone live, but I had not yet had a chance to go and listen to it. And so now it's up. So as soon as I'm done teaching my class tonight, before I leave my computer, I'm going to get to have a listen. And so because it's already up, because I went and found it so that I can actually share it with everyone else. And so it's ready to go. I just have to go ahead and listen to it. But it's just so important for us to be able to have these conversations. And so Linda says, thanks, see the link. Awesome. Because that is so much easier when you can actually just click on the link. I know that I prefer to have that, like, where do I find it? How is it easy to find? And so rather than having to search, because sometimes we get waylaid on that search. So it's right there, ready to go. And if you're watching this, then you guys can actually type this part in. And like I said, for those of you who are listening to this on the podcast later, because this will be uploaded later this evening. And so I'll actually make sure to put this link in the description, because it wasn't there when Joel had actually signed up for tonight's episode.
Brand new, just out.
Brand new. So I will make sure that link is in the description of wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast. So now tell me a little bit more about why this podcast is so important to you. Like, why this TEDx is so important to you.
Well, the podcast is too, because you are sharing the TEDx and chatting with wisdom is crucial, and sharing wisdom. So by the way, you don't know this, Rollie, but my biggest fear in life 7 years ago was public speaking.
Nice.
And if somebody asked me to speak in front of more than 2 people, I would have said, just shoot me. Like, just get it over with. I don't want to go through that.
Yes.
I did know that I was about to write a book, and I did know I needed to be a more engaging speaker than what I had been for the first 40 years of my life, which was holding a piece of paper and shaking while I was reading it and hoping that I didn't poop in my pants while I gave that speech in front of more than 2 people. So I did overcome that by joining Toastmasters and giving 100 speeches to people who are supportive, 10, 15, 20 people who are supportive, and gave me constructive criticism. But let's go back to the TEDx. And the reason why this is so important is because there are 2 powerful secrets in there in this TEDx that people can use right up front to create money miracles. I truly believe that if you use these techniques on a daily basis and practice them, and look, it's not one and done. You don't just watch this video and say, okay, I heard what he had to say and I'm good. No, my TEDx is about putting things into practice on a daily basis, because you're not going to change until you change your habits, change your beliefs, change your thoughts, right? And so it's not just watching a video. People come to me and want the magic pill to create money, to create money miracles. And I say, I'm sorry, there's no magic pill. You can't swallow this pill and lose the 50 pounds or get $1 million. It's a process. And you should be taking inspired action because you want to, because it's fun. I tell my clients everything with grace and ease and fun. But there is some action that needs to be taken. I think a lot of people watched this or read The Secret or watched The Secret, the movie in 2006, 7, 8, and said, oh, I'll just sit at home and visualize and meditate and wait for that check
and then
to come.
boom.
That's not how it works. You need to take inspired action. Yes. And the action comes from the visualization and the meditation, but there is action, and you want to take it because you're inspired, right? Yes. I take a lot of action, but again, it's not white knuckling it. Like, I don't believe you need to work really, really hard to be rich and successful. When you're taking inspired action, you're in the flow, and it doesn't feel like work even. It's play. I love talking to people and helping people become financially free. So for me, like, if I have 10 calls for 10 hours in one day, I'm energized at the end. I don't even feel like that's work. That's not work. I'm helping people become financially free. How does that work?
Yes.
So the important part is, in this TEDx, you're given 2 specific techniques. Do them daily for at least the next 90 days and see how your life changes. Beautiful. Because it will change.
And it really does. And one of the things that and we're actually on a new moon. So depending on where you are in the world, is that for some of you guys, it's today, like on April 19th. But for me, it'll be like April 20th, because it'll be 12 a.m. And so like, this is like and so like, you talk about manifesting and like being able to use, like, this is like perfect energy time to be able to start these things because of that. And then on top of that, we are in a solar eclipse, with, again, is another huge thing about having about being able to bring forth energy and what it is that's going on. And if you actually follow any type of astrologers, they're talking about how powerful everything is happening right now. Because then on top of all of this, then in tomorrow, the next day is the Mercury retrograde on top of that. And apparently planets are crashing. And so like, there's like clashing, not crashing. But there's some clashing going on energetically with some different things, Pluto being one of them. And so like, it's all this energy and all this other stuff that's going on. And so, yes, all these things around manifesting. But one of the key things that I hear a lot of people that say, oh yeah, well, I've been manifesting and nothing's happening. Okay, well, what steps are you taking? Right? I'm manifesting. I want to be able to like have this dream boat of a partner. And it's like, okay, so what are you doing to be able to like, are you waiting for them to fall from the sky? Like,
right.
Because that's not the way that it works. You have to take the steps. And what you're saying is the same thing with the money miracles, is that you need to take these steps and you need to take action to make these things work.
So let's talk about beliefs again, because like I said, that was your question back before, and shifting the beliefs from limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs by using affirmations. But let me give you something, and the viewers and listeners, something that is not in the TEDx. So we have some added benefit for the people who are watching and listening right now. And that is a concept called acting as if. Acting as if what you want to happen has already happened. So let's talk about it outside of money for a second. You want to be in a relationship. You want the dream boat. So how could you act as if you already have that person, that partner? You could clean out You have a walk-in closet, clean out half the closet and empty the space. You have a 2-car garage. Have one part of the 1-car garage completely empty, waiting for that other car to pull in. You could go out and buy 2 tickets, maybe 6 or 12 months out to some destination. Not 1, but 2. And maybe, plan the hotel. And so let's talk about the money. So you want money to flow. You don't have to do things that actually cost money to act as if you have the money. You want to go to Egypt on the dream vacation to see the pyramids and the Sphinx and take the boat up or down the Nile and see all the temples like Luxor and Karnak and so on. So you could do what I did, which was in January of 2021, I started researching how many frequent flyer miles I would need to fly round trip to Egypt from New York for free. Then I checked out hotels and I checked out the excursions. And then I checked out the flights. What time of year would I want to go? Probably January, February, not in June when it's 120, but January, February when it's cooler. And then, so what flights are available and where? Can I fly out of JFK or do I have to go to Newark, New Jersey? And so I did all of this in January, February of 2021. I acted as if it was happening. Of course, I visualized and I put the pyramids on my vision board as well. And I put myself out there. I talked to a lot of people. I mentioned that I'd love to go to Egypt. And some friend of mine mentioned to me that she had just gone to Egypt in 2020, January, February 2020. And she told me about the person she went with and how that's the person to go with. And a few months later, that woman reached out and said, the trip's on for January of 2022.
Nice.
And I went to Egypt and did the pyramids and touched the Sphinx and took the boat ride on the Nile for 9 days, just 1 year later.
Beautiful. And it really things really do come together when you take action and you do the things that you need to be doing and you have those visions and you actually mentioned vision board. So like vision boarding is also a very powerful tool of being able to have what it is that you want to be able to have.
So if you go to my website again, I actually have my vision board on my website. If you go to the drop-down menu on inspiration, I have my vision board and I haven't changed it much. So there are places on there that I want to go to and places that I've been to. But I did need to update it a lot. That was originally done in 2018 with Egypt and India and Bangkok and Machu Picchu. And I've been to all those places in the last 5 years. So now I have the actual pictures.
And where is that on your website?
I think it's under inspiration, and there should be a drop down under inspiration called vision board. Hopefully.
Yes, yeah. It's that. And so what I'm going to do is share my screen. Oh, that's funny. I hit vision board and it just scrolled right down to where it needed to go.
My website guy is good, isn't
he? He's really good. Okay, so Chrome tab. Okay, there we go. So here's Joel's vision board that he was talking about. So these here are places that you've gone to already, like some of these.
So Taj Mahal was on there without me in it for the last 5 years. I just came back from India in February of 2023. And the Bangkok pictures I haven't actually replaced, but there's the Temple of Dawn, the Temple of Buddha, and the Grand Palace. And I've been to all those places. So Machu Picchu as well. I was there with Mike Dooley in October 2018.
Like Mike Dooley is in the guy who does like
The Notes from the
inspirational
Universe.
cards.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love him. I've never met him, but I love him. That is so cool. It
So
is such
I
a
am,
small world.
yeah, I'm also a certified infinite possibilities trainer. So I teach the key concepts from Mike Dooley's New York Times bestseller, Infinite Possibilities. And he had been doing a trip twice a year before the pandemic. He did his last trip in October of 2022 to Scotland. So I saw him there. And so I've been on a couple of trips with him. When I went to Machu Picchu with him in October 2018, I vowed that I would take a trip with him every year because it was just mind blowing. Every day was better than the prior one. And in my first book, Mindful Money Management, I say happiness equals reality divided by expectations. So he puts out a pamphlet of what you're going to do. And so you're expecting here, and then reality comes in higher, so you're happy. For example, he talked about in Machu Picchu, we're going to go on a picnic, right? We're going to do a picnic one day. So it was like day 4, and we're in the Sacred Valley. So, halfway through the day, 1:30, we go to this open field, and we have, quote unquote, a picnic, but there are 5-star chefs who are helping us make Peruvian food with them underneath this tent. It was just it wasn't a picnic lunch.
That is like super, super cool. And so like every Sunday I go into my I actually go on YouTube as well as inside my private Facebook group, and I pull cards, and I often pull Mike's cards. Because I have 2 of his decks, and so I will often pull those cards out as part of being able to share whatever that the notes of the universe messages are. And I love how he's like, at the end of them are always about that it's the universe that's actually answering or making that statement. So I love it. I love that way that he's actually had that done. So I actually often use Mike's cards to be able to pull. So, but it's incredible with all the different people, and being able to have these connections and having these conversations with people is how much more. And the more, because you and I met on one of the networking in one of the networking groups, and it was like, okay, this is like super cool. And so being able to talk about it, and so then you had a something that was free that I signed up for, and then I signed up for your course on top of that. And because it was just like your presentation and your style, and so and you have, like, in the course that I'm in, you have a partner that you collaborate with. And so, like, is there other programs or courses or things that you do that collaboration with?
No, she's the only person I collaborate with. Although, having said that, in my Money Miracles membership, I have collaborated with 5 other Infinite Possibilities trainers, and we have the whole Infinite Possibilities course in my Money Miracles membership.
Oh, cool.
So that is a collaboration. It's online, and all the videos are recorded for their evergreen, and the whole Infinite Possibilities workbook is included in the Money Miracles membership. So you can go through that and read along and do the exercises for Infinite Possibilities with me and 5 other certified Infinite Possibilities trainers.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then the other thing, sorry to interrupt, Rollie, the other thing in my membership, initially it was just me. And I said, why should I take all the credit? I know a lot of people who are experts in their own field, and they could help the people who have joined the membership or want to join the membership in their own businesses, grow their business to be more successful. And so I've now added 17 guest experts who I've done this with. I've asked them, tell me how you became successful. Tell us about, what your specialty is. And so we have experts from the areas of mindset to people who are great at digital marketing to people who know how to monetize podcasting. And it's all about abundance and prosperity and success. So I guess you could say my membership is a collaboration with a lot of others.
That's really awesome. And it's about being able to, like you said, like being able to expand on that and being able to have that approach. And I know that being in the helping field for so many years, I know that working with people is that I've had people say, I showed up with something that Joel said like 10 years ago and it didn't register, but Jane said something today that was the exact same thing that Joel said, maybe just a slightly different, and like I got it with Jane, but I didn't quite get it with Joel, or vice versa, right? And
Yep.
so, and I hear that and I see that all the time about like just being able to have these opportunities and these situations that are actually going on in the conversations. And so, even in the course that you're doing, even just being able to hear how people from one week to the next have changed and grown and the different things that they're doing in terms of like, hey, I got this miracle thing happening,
Yeah.
and just being able to hear from like what somebody else has done, that and everybody heard the same tip, everybody heard the same lesson, but yet one person took it and ran with it in this direction and was able to like spin it and get to this out of it, right? So it's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
really amazing. In your course so we're 8 weeks through, we've had $21,000 manifested.
Nice.
And people are paying $99 for that 9 week course. So it's a pretty good return on investment there. And,
Definitely.
and and in the Money Miracles membership, this is mind blowing to me. I guess it shouldn't be because I teach this stuff, but it still is.
Yeah.
So we're like 19 months into the membership, and members have now manifested 1,327 US 327,000 US dollars.
Wow.
1.3 million US dollars.
That is incredible. And it's just from listening. And so do you like you have the 9 money rules. So is there anything more beyond that? Or do you like is it teaching from those points and
Oh yeah,
then
there's a
expanding?
lot. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
As I actually said last night to the course members, we're going through the 9 money rules, each an hour, and there are exercises, of course, each week. But this is really a tip of the iceberg of what I teach, because I teach 10 specific money manifestation techniques. I
Okay.
teach how to understand what your money personality type is, which is from my last book with Molly Singh, Infinite Love and Money. And I teach the DIY investing, which we did last night, goes off into investing can be investing in your own business. So I have a whole course in the membership on how to successfully plan and expand your business. So that's an hour. I have a
Yeah.
course on how to get comfortable investing in stocks, get comfortable investing in real estate. So there's all these different pieces within the membership. And then of course, when I teach one-on-one, we dive in deep into how to successfully plan and expand your business, and it's not just 1 hour, right? We
Yeah.
go many hours deep. And so like that's the other thing. The one-on-one coaching clients were up to over $3 million of money that's been manifested, and I'm very close to having a client do something really crazy awesome. So in another few weeks I'll be able to share that.
Nice. Like that's really exciting to be able to have these different things. So like now is this only like do you only so like all these techniques and tips, are these only for people that are in business, or is it outside of that? Like so is it only within business, under the purview of business that these tips?
Great question, Rollie. So no, it's not just business, but I will say 80 to 90% of my clients are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I do have people who come to me and want to learn as individuals to become financially free. They work at a company and they want, to change their mindset anyway. They're struggling even though they're at a company. And there are people who come to me who just want to learn about investing. As I said earlier, I did make money in 2008 and I made a lot more money in 2009 and had my own hedge fund. So people want to work with a former hedge fund manager. And so I do have a special program just for investing. It's unique just for those people.
Okay.
Having said that, I really, most of the people who come to me, they want to learn how to shift their money mindset and create through money manifestation techniques.
Beautiful. I love that. And so, like, and it's just all these different ways of being able to, and like you said, you just start with like a couple, right? So, like, you don't have to like take everything and read it all before you can actually implement it. It's just being able to start doing two things.
Absolutely. I say what Mike Dooley says, everything with baby steps. Take a baby step, right? And it not attaching to any particular result is really important. And Mike will say, take the least path. Take the least sucky path, right? So you're like pushing here, pushing there, pushing there, and see which one is the least sucky one. And so
Yeah.
that's important. The other comment I wanted to make, you talked about energy earlier and solar eclipse. And I, the quote in the 9 money rules is money is just energy.
Yes.
Money is just energy. So, when we get into giving, I talk a lot about how money is just energy. And so by putting it out into the world, it must flow back to you. But if you're hoarding, protecting the people who are like this, there's no flow.
Yes. Sorry, I thought you froze for a second. I'm like,
No,
is he gone? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
uh,
And that is just so important because of so I guess we just needed to emphasize on what it is that you just said. We're gonna go with that, right?
absolutely. It's important to let it flow. And I know a lot of people are struggling out there. A lot of people have worries because of how they were programmed, and taught growing up at an early age. So I do have, a free video that I'd love, your people who are watching and listening to get, because I do think these two techniques in this video is separate from my TEDx, but I think it's 4 minutes. It's very short. And again, applying just two techniques can truly ease your money worries. And I remember when I gave one of these to one of my clients last year, and like, he was the protectionist in the 7 money personality types. He was protecting his money. The P, it's sugar pie is the acronym, and he was the P. And he was very worried, looking at his accounts 3 times a day. And I said, can you just do this one technique for me for the next week? And when we meet again, tell me how you feel. And he came back and he said, Joel, like, I had no idea by doing this, my life could change. So
Nice.
just by taking 7 days of action in that direction, he eased up on his money worries.
Nice. Now, is that on your website as well?
No,
That
so
video that you're talking about?
yeah, so here's the link. It's actually on my
Okay.
YouTube channel. And by the way, I have a lot of free stuff. On my YouTube channel, there's over 500 free videos. So you can binge on Joel Solomon's YouTube channel, or you can binge on Netflix. I think if you binge on Joel Solomon's YouTube channel, you're going to become financially free quicker than binging on Netflix.
Right? So I'm going to share that on the screen here as well. So I put it in the comments for anybody who's on, like I said, YouTube um, and Facebook. But here's the link for those of you who are on LinkedIn or in my private Facebook group, because I've also got this video running into my Facebook group as well. And so, but yeah, definitely. Here's another great link. And so, thank you so much, Joel. Is there anything that you want to share as we part tonight that we haven't touched on that you're like?
I think the one of the biggest issues I find with my entrepreneurs is doubt. You have this big dream, and then there's a setback or a roadblock. So hashtag doubt the doubt. Have faith in your dreams. Stop having faith in your doubt, and
Nice.
doubt your doubt. When you doubt your doubt, then you can live the life of your dreams.
And that, I really like that statement. So like I like that, because oftentimes like that's where we feed into, right? So energy flows where the energy, or energy goes where the energy, where, oh, has, what's that expression?
The
Energy.
energy goes where the focus flows.
And so like, and that is so important, right? So if we're focusing on like, oh well, I don't have, or I can't, then that's where everything is going. So I love that.
And just one final tip. This is also from my TEDx. So when you hear those thoughts in your head, I can't, like, that's not possible. Stop, cancel, clear, get the fear out of here. Stop, cancel, clear, get the fear out of here. Or you could use the other F word. I don't care.
Whatever works, right? Whatever works. Beautiful. So thank you so much, Joel, for joining me. And
Pleasure.
I am looking forward to sharing this out. Not that I don't look forward to sharing out my episodes anyway. However, I'm really excited about this one. So this is great. So
Thank
thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom, and sharing your accomplishments, like in terms of like, this is what I did and this is how I got there. And so this is beautiful because it really makes it real life. Like this truly happened because of the things that you teach. And so it's that live, eat, breathe what it is that you teach, right? It makes a huge difference as well. And it's like you're not just proclaiming all these things for people to do, and that's not what you're doing, right? So that's beautiful. So
you.
thank you.
TSW, this stuff works.
Beautiful.
Or
I
you
love
could use the other S.
whatever works. So thanks again so much. And
Thank you.
for everyone else, talk to you guys soon. We will be back again next week with another Chatting with Wisdom. Talk to you guys soon.